This show essentially is the Acolyte, but for Lord of the Rings fans.
I can help you destroy him.
If you wanted to know how good it is, there you go. There's your quick summary for you. We got a convoluted story split into 3 sub-stories with characters we don't care about who seem to not know how to act, and it just gives you this billion-dollar bore fest that is Rings of Power Season 2. Now, to start things off, there will be spoilers for Episode 1 for Rings of Power Season 2, as this will pretty much be a review of it and a mentioning of all the dumbest moments I thought of while watching this show. So the show starts off with a pre-puberty Sauron essentially trying to convince the orcs that he should be their leader and their ruler. I guess he's just not that smart yet, as he bows his head so they can put the crown on him, and they turn the crown upside down and proceed to shank him in the back of the neck. He is then tossed into a mosh pit of orcs, and they just mog him to death, essentially. He's dead, his blood drips down through the castle or wherever he is, and then he proceeds to turn into Venom. I'm not even exaggerating. He's just a symbiote we see tumbling down the side of a mountain now until he attaches to a wooden cart that some lady is driving. He proceeds to, I guess, eat her, and instead of turning into a female, he turns into a male. I guess they had the wrong puberty blockers in the cart or whatever. We'll just roll with it because I guess this is what the script says. And in case you thought all that was dumb, it just gets worse for the almighty Sauron. He proceeds to join a crew and boards a ship. The ship is later attacked by a fish like he's Jonah in the whale. He falls into the water, and I guess his aura is just immensely that strong. It's so awesome that the fish just averts him and goes back to his own way. He then climbs a raft, and then that's when we see Galadriel and him meet for the first time. Cue the Rings of Power intro. Everyone is so hyped right now. This is awesome. Don't worry. I guess it'll just hopefully get better. It doesn't. Newsflash, it doesn't. So in the next scene, we see Galadriel trying to chase Elrond to retrieve the rings back. In case you forgot, that's pretty much how Season 1 ended. And Elrond makes it back to the High Elf King and proceeds to give him the rings and tell him about it. And Galadriel shows up as well. And they're all bickering back and forth. Is it good dialogue? No. Is it immensely boring? Yes. It is so stupid just watching these characters go back and forth. There was no emotion between any of them. I don't sense any kind of authority or any kind of power when they talk to the High King Elf. There's just nothing there. So Elrond doesn't like the decisions they made. So he proceeds to go to the edge of an immensely high waterfall and jumps off with them. Don't worry, he's alive, without a scratch, without a bruise, without any damage in the next few scenes because, well, that's what the script says. Okay, we'll just roll with that as well. We then get a jump cut to everyone's favorite Heartfoot walking around with Sand Obi-Wan Kenobi the Stranger on Tatooine trying to find their way out of it. Little do they know they have no idea where to go because they've just been walking in circles since Season 1. So for the past 2 years, we'll say they've just been walking in circles. They're starving. They don't know what to eat. So the old man proceeds to stroke wood in front of the girl and it just busts everywhere. I'm not exaggerating. Insects come out and they proceed to eat them for dinner. And of course, you're curious like, oh no, I wish the DEI hire of Samwise the Great, Poppy, I can't remember her name because she's not cool enough to remember. Anyways, I think it's Poppy, shows up and she's like, don't worry guys, I have the map because the script says for me to show up and give you guys the map. How convenient. So they now have the map and can figure out how to get out of this era that they've been stuck in for a while. Thank goodness we get our version of Frodo and Samwise coming together and helping Gandalf not Gandalf the Stranger. Yay. After this, Halbrand has the genius idea. Yo, let me get myself captured by the orcs and taken to the guy ruling and leading them and try and pitch them this amazing idea. You know what? I would like to say it. I'm just gonna let the critical drinker say it himself because I think he said it great in his review.
Sauron is alive again, and I know you want him dead, even though I totally shouldn't know that because you betrayed him hundreds of years before I should have been born, but don't think about that too much. And I don't actually know where he is or what he looks like now, but the important thing is that he's totally not me, and if you let me go, then I can go to the elves and maybe find out where he is and then report back to you so that you can march your not particularly strong armies halfway across Middle-earth to the most heavily defended stronghold in the entire world and possibly take him out.
The show doesn't get much better from here. I'm sorry to tell you, it doesn't. So then after that, we pan back over to Elrond with the elves, and he's meeting with one of his old buddies, a ship creator in the Elven Kingdom. He then tells him about the rings and discuss what to do with them. So the High King Elf and Galadriel all of a sudden get this immense idea that that's where he must be. So they hop on their horses and they rush down there. Once they meet him, Elrond has already given the rings to the old geezer, and he is shipped away trying to get rid of the rings. We then see him try to drop the rings, right, in the little bag into the water. Doesn't happen. They just literally come back up. He can't drop them in. So this guy has the bright idea. He's like, you know what I must do? I'm gonna bring the rings back to the High King with Galadriel and we're all just gonna wear them and see what happens. Awesome. Does no one in this show have any intuition or any thought or any idea like what could maybe go wrong if these were made by Sauron? I guess not. I guess Elrond is the only one that has this idea, but no discernment. That's fine, I guess. You reap what you sow, but they proceed to put the rings on, and their tree of life and their land or whatever keeps growing back pretty much all of its nature, and it's looking good for the elves, at least in episode 1 so far. So everyone seems to be happy and excited there, except for Elrond, who we see walk off stage, or the set. Or, I'm sorry, the fake CGI awful green screen. $1 billion my ball sack, okay? And episode 1 ends with an immense cliffhanger as Halbrand, or Sauron, leaves the orcs and he proceeds back and talks to the other elves, and they let him in the castle because no one's had time to relay the information that, yo, don't let this guy in because he may be the greatest evil we've ever faced, also known as Sauron. But I guess they just didn't relay the information in time, so they let him right on in the castle, and episode 1 ends. And I'm sitting there, oh man, this cliffhanger is awesome. Not really, I'm just bored out of my mind. You may be curious, Ty, you didn't mention anything about fights or action or anything like that going on, and you're right. You're absolutely right. Aside from Sauron in his pre-puberty form getting mocked at the beginning, there wasn't really any action. It was just a convoluted story with 3 subplots with characters we don't really care about. Now, to wrap things up, by the way, I just want to say, if you enjoy Rings of Power Season 1 and you like Season 2 so far, awesome, good for you, keep enjoying it. These are just my thoughts and my opinions that I'm pushing out to you guys. I'm new to this whole YouTube thing, so let me know in the comments, what do you guys think of my reviews? How do you like stuff like this? How do you like my takes on it? And follow us up to date, because I keep you guys covered with all gaming and movie news.